Hey, welcome back to the show. Today we're talking to Malformity. How are you doing, guys?
Right, good. Yep.
Cool. Why don't you just start off by introducing yourselves and what you do? I mean, obviously we know who's playing drums, but everybody else.
I'm Eric. I play bass and do kind of backup vocals, partial vocals.
Craig on the drums.
Dan, guitar and vocals.
I'm playing. I just play guitar. Poorly.
I guess let's start off with the history of the band, because obviously I look you guys up when I'm doing my notes and everything. You guys started in '95, released a demo, but then took a long break and got back together. I want to say 2013-ish. With two of the original members. So I guess why don't get into like the history of the band and why you decided to maybe break up in the first place, reform, and then meeting the two new members.
I'll take the original pass. So Dan and I went to high school together, and we jammed together. And
it was
then,
more like 91.
Yeah,
91 when we started.
Yeah, so we were writing songs at that point, and then and Dan had the name at that point back in high school, and so we jammed together. He went to college at UAB in Birmingham. I went, and he's a year older than me, and then I went to Auburn the next year. He ended up transferring to Auburn my sophomore year.
Yeah, around 94.
And then
we had a drummer in Auburn. We
yeah.
did a demo. We had 2 demos. I think they're both up on YouTube.
They're essentially kind of the same stuff, but there's like one different track. But and then we just kind of split apart. I started doing a different band.
I didn't quite catch that. Could you please repeat it?
That was, I don't know, that was my phone. I thought
that was you.
Sorry, yeah, that was my phone. That's an error in the phone. I'm turning it off right now. I don't know why it made that noise by itself, though. That was a little eerie. That's a little eerie. All right, it's totally off now. Hopefully it doesn't turn back on. That's odd.
All right, so we broke up, I guess about 95-ish. Started doing different things, and then we knew each other for after that, but he was doing his own thing.
Yeah, then we both moved to Atlanta around 98, but I met Craig probably 99, 2000.
Yeah, around 2000.
And we started the band Lectures on the Apocalypse in 2006. And it was me, Craig, and another guy named Billy. So this band was Lectures on the Apocalypse. Billy quit, or no, Billy was still in the band. Glenn joined around 2012. And then Billy quit. So it was the 3 of us plus Billy.
Yeah.
Billy quit, Eric joined. And I asked the guys, I said, me and Eric used to be in a band called Malformity. And I like that name so much better than Lectures on the Apocalypse.
Yeah.
What does everyone think? Everyone's like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah,
That's the name. Yeah.
I was like, are you sure it's not taken by somebody else? They're like, no.
Everyone asked.
Taken by us.
Okay, so that's cool. So it I guess it's sort of like a band name switch at that point.
When we played a show, I think around 2014 or 15, where a bunch of friends from our hometown came up to it, and someone asked me, well, when you and Eric reformed Malformity, why didn't you invite the original drummer? And I said, well, it's not exactly how it went. It was really me and Craig's band, and then Eric joined, and we kind of adapted that old name.
We had about 6 songs nailed down by the time Eric joined, and they just kind of become Malformity songs. And then the materials kind of progressed from there as the 4 of us have written together.
Yeah, I did take a listen to that original demo, and you mentioned that there was 2 demos. They have all the same songs, but are they different recordings, or is it the same recording and just an extra song?
They are different recordings. Yeah.
Okay.
One had another guitar player.
Yeah, the second one had an additional guitar player. I don't think the songs were revisited at all. We wanted it to sound a little better. I can't really say it ended up sounding better. You could maybe hear the kicks a little better, but the guy who recorded it on a little 6-track, record the drums on 4 tracks, bounce those down to 1, record guitars and bounce those down, and everything,
All analog.
Yeah,
back
all
in the
analog
90s.
on metal cassette tapes and stuff. And so the second one, we were trying to just improve the sound of the first one. It didn't quite work out. And then we split up kind of soon after.
Yeah, just based on the sound quality of what I heard on YouTube, I'm assuming I heard the first one then.
I don't know. Neither one was great. So.
Okay, so that was Black Holes to Heaven that we were just talking about. And then, so I guess if your band was called Lectures on the Apocalypse, it makes sense that that is your first CD in 2015.
Yeah.
Okay, so that makes sense where that name came from. That was self-released?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, and then what was just curious, I'm always curious about, what was the print run on that?
500 copies.
Cool. And then, so then you ended up doing a 7-inch on Boris Records. I guess talk a little bit about how that came about.
See, by that time, so those were songs 8 and 9.
Yeah, there were newer songs.
They were newer songs that
We'd
this
all
band
written together.
all worked together.
But they sort of approached us for that one, right?
To do a split.
Yeah,
It was supposed to be a
do
split with Cemetery Filth. I think one song each on a
Yeah.
7-inch.
Somehow that
And
fell
then-
through, right?
That Cemetery Filth could no longer do it. I don't remember why. And so we decided to put on a second song.
Yeah. So we had to pick 2 songs that were short enough to each make the side of the 7-inch. Our songs tend to go from 4 to 5.5 minutes or so, which is to our own chagrin kind of thing. We wish they were a little shorter, but we just had to pick 2 that were short enough to fit on both sides of the 7-inch without, causing
Going over.
issues. Yeah.
Yeah, what's the limit? Like 6 minutes or something?
It's
Even less than that?
yeah. It's like under 5. It's under 5 if you want it to sound pretty good on 7-inch.
So, but yeah, we did that one, and I think that's the first one we were really happy with the production on. I think I felt like it really, we were just a lot more satisfied with that than anything before.
Yeah. Surprisingly, as long as we have all been kind of playing, it was still sort of we're still kind of learning as we record. So the pre-production work for each of them has gotten better each time. And so there's a lot. This newest one we just recorded is way more consistent, and we're much happier
Even though
with.
we recorded each facet of it in a different place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We recorded the drums in a studio, recorded the guitars in my basement, recorded Eric's bass
Half
tracks.
bass in his basement, half the bass with the guy who ended up mixing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Vocals
vocals
at
at
another
at
studio.
another studio. Yeah.
And leads at another place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I did that at home too. So it was all over the place.
Okay.
So I guess you just had like a central workstation or something that you brought to the play, or
No.
Not
No,
even.
A separate studio.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Google Drive.
We did the drums on at studio as a Pro Tools project, and got that exported, mixed roughly, and then we just did guitars at Glenn's in Reaper and exported those and imported them into the Pro Tools project at the guy who ended up mixing it, his house and our studio house, whatever we're gonna call it.
Yeah.
But and the vocals we did in another studio, that was done in Reaper too. We just exported those WAV files and put them in.
The drums we did at Orange Peel Recording. That's Raheem Amlami. He used to be in Withered. He's in Arcadia with Braun from Macedon. The vocals we did at Second Sight Studio, and that's run by Alex from Paladin. And the guy who mixed our album, Jamie, he's the guy who recorded our early demos. He also mixed the Lectures on the Apocalypse CD. Oh, and the first CD was at Crushing Productions. Chris Rushing from Canvas Solaris. So,
Universe Divide.
and Universe Divine. Want to give those guys some credit too.
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, and like I say with all our interviews, we usually put the links to everything in the description. So whatever I can't find on Bandcamp, I'll hit you guys up for and get that in the description for everybody to check out, so you can find some new music after you're done listening to me blab on.
And we'll say that Jamie Ertz mixed this in the first demo, and
He's awesome.
and he does really good work. He was up in Brooklyn at Silver Cord Studios with the Goodyear guys, studio.
With them, together with them.
I don't know it. I'm not sure. I don't think I've been to that one. No.
I think it's closed. I think that like
closed.
your guys moved back to France or something. I don't
Okay.
know exactly, but
Okay.
Hmm.
How
Okay,
many
so-
songs?
No.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
You go on,
I
Eric.
was gonna say, how many songs did you record for the new album?
We recorded 10. So for the CD, we're going to do all 10 of those. And then we remixed and remastered the song from the 7-inch. For vinyl, only 8 are going to fit. So, 8 on a vinyl, all 12 on the CD, and maybe the other 2, maybe the 7-inch. So, we're still trying to figure out pressing.
Okay.
so
Yeah,
of
you
the-
don't want to gyp anybody who buys the vinyl, right? That would suck.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
So of the 10 we recorded, 8 are brand new. One of them we re-recorded, we refactored and re-recorded from the lectures demo CD, and then one was one of the old Malformity songs from '95 that we refactored and recorded, made it shorter and more concise.
Cool. And I should mention that you guys were nice enough to send me a link to I don't know what do you call it, the preview of 3
Okay.
songs from the new album. Me and Eric both listened to it. We were talking about it I think a couple days, Eric, and ago, and yeah, it was really cool, and I definitely appreciate you sending that over. What do you want to talk about, maybe if there's the progression of the music? I noticed maybe things were a little bit, there were a couple slower parts. Maybe it seemed a little bit more Florida influenced than maybe some of the CD.
Everyone says that.
I don't hear it that much, like, because we love all the old death metal. We all grew up with it.
And I grew up in the Florida death metal
Yes.
scene, so I guess maybe that seeps in there unintentionally.
Okay, so the one definite direct kind of sounding influence would be Brutality.
Right. But I don't
Because
think they were
the double
typical of-
vocals and
They weren't
and
typical
stuff.
of Florida death
yeah, they're not
metal.
typical. They're not Love and Creation or
Right. Morbid Angel or something.
Obituary. Yeah. So as far as the style, we're all over the place.
Yeah,
Like,
there's definitely a lot of Florida and Swedish death
Sure.
metal.
yeah.
I guess, I think we've all been playing since we were teenagers, which is like late 80s, early 90s.
Hmm.
And, I was thinking that the stuff we write is kind of stuck from back then when we were still learning,
Right.
as
Stuff we
opposed to
still-
newer things that you
Stuff we still
learn.
love and listen to.
Yes, it's kind of like your brain unconsciously goes back to that old stuff that you love.
Yeah.
But we're not deliberately old
Right.
school
We're not
throwback.
targeting.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah,
not
there's
targeting.
nothing deliberate.
No, but I mean, definitely any fan of like that old school death metal well, obviously your old stuff, but especially your new stuff, I think would be really happy with the new record and really digging it.
Yeah, we are super happy with
Yeah.
how that turned out, start to finish. It was.
Yeah, I think it sounds really well production-wise too. It sounds really good. Sounds really good.
Even though it was a patchwork of
Yeah.
studios and basements and
Yeah.
it's the what do they call it? It's like it's the new normal.
Yeah.
It worked out though. It worked out because it gave us the time to do everything that we wanted to do our way
Oh
versus
my god, we would spend a
doing
fortune
everything
doing
in one
guitars in the
studio.
studio.
Yeah. We were kind of rushed when we did the 7-inch, or at least we felt rushed,
Mhm.
or maybe
Clock's ticking.
internal pressure
Mhm.
on ourselves to we don't want to waste his time recording. And Raheem, who recorded the drums for this newest one, recorded the 7-inch. So we went in, did the drum. Craig did the drums in 2 weekends for the new one over there, and you didn't feel rushed, I assume, or
No,
anything?
not really.
It's real chill over there
Yeah.
at Raheem's, It's very, very chill. But still, I mean, the clock's still ticking. You're in
Yeah.
the studio, you're in the studio.
Yeah.
So when we did the guitars and we did it at the house, and we could do as many takes as we wanted to and be perfectionists about it, I have a
Sure.
problem with that when grindcore bands do it, but we're not playing grindcore now. Which I've been in grindcore bands in the past, and it was like, man, this sounds way too polished. So we way too much time in the studio. But in this time it worked out because I did all of our editing on the guitars, and we would have spent a fortune had we done that in the studio. So I'm really happy we experimented and got that and got the sound that we did.
Even that one was an experiment. It was, hey, let's try recording the guitars at his place, and if it works, great. If it doesn't, we'll have to book studio time. And thankfully, we didn't have to.
It worked. Yeah, I mean, we did. I mean, we set up the cabinet and the mics and everything, and I've got
looked up YouTube videos how to do it.
Play some mics and crap. Pick some friends of mine who are actual, engineers and everything, sound engineers, and ask them what to do, and you do all this great. So we just experimented.
We got some great ideas from like a church guy.
Yeah, it was
like his like a sound for his church, like how to position the mics.
Yeah, we're like, let's try that, and that's the one we actually ended up using.
Yeah, the first sound we got sounded too deliberately Swedish. Like it sounded like guys in their young 20s trying to sound Swedish, and like
that's the Fredman technique or whatever I think it's called. You have the mics at a 45-degree angle from each other. We're using that. It's I had a friend of mine print a clip out for the 57s, but yeah, it sounded very deliberately Swedish. Like it's not really us.
Played around with different things and found a sound we liked.
The church thing was a video you saw.
Yeah, it was just random
YouTube
how to place SM57s on a guitar cabinet. And just, why not? We checked it out, and it's the one we used 2 mics, and spacing them is
That's the key, right? That is the key, the spacing.
Which is funny because Jamie ended up only using one of those mic trackers.
Oh, weird.
Or direct.
Yeah, so he's like, it's but it it sounded great. So
we did it in Glenn's unfinished basement, so the room that had the guitar amp didn't have a door. So so we took a mattress and like some wood.
And hung the mattress in front of the door.
We had a ladder in front of it to keep it there.
Because it wouldn't.
The story just keeps getting worse.
The thing is, we couldn't hear what was coming through the headphones without hearing the bleed through the room. So we had to do something, So I took this mattress off of a rollaway cot and hung it there, and it worked. So so really, I mean, you're thinking of I don't know, man.
Put it all together, figuring it out.
In the end, aside from the drum recording, it was pretty DIY.
Oh yeah, I'm cool. It stayed that way for several months because Dan would only be able to come and record on weekends, and towards the end of when Dan finished up his guitars or his tracks is when the whole COVID thing happened. The pandemic started, lockdowns and garbage. So Eric came up a few nights and recorded some tracks. And then, my wife was kind of, maybe we shouldn't have people over and stuff. So we put it into that. So we ended up having to do it at the rest of it at Jamie's place.
Which it worked, and the bass tone was close enough between the two. So, but I'm trying to think if there's anything.
As far as I mean, how many sessions do you guys do with Jamie?
We did quite a few.
Yeah.
Well, we did more of the pre-mixing stuff. The bass was 3 times. I went there 3 times to do bass work, and then the vocals we did in 2 weekends.
Yeah.
But this whole thing, even prior to COVID, this still would have taken us a long time. Just so we recorded the
logistics.
Craig did the drums in September of 2018, right?
18?
Or 2019.
Not that.
19,
Guitars, maybe.
We started around Thanksgiving or October. So right after.
Not right after. It was a couple months, but so November, December, maybe started on that. And even that, the pre-production stuff in terms of tempo maps and all that stuff started in March of 2019. March to May, somewhere in there. So
the whole process has been 2 years.
Yeah, it's about 2 years.
2 years, wow.
Which is right on par for us.
Yeah.
It's slowest band.
If you count from just the pre-production, creating tempo maps and stuff like that, and really thinking about it. So
Now, all 3 of you guys sing on the new CD, correct?
No, just me and Eric.
Just me and Dan.
Okay. And do you record the vocals at the same time, or do you sort of just know where the other person is supposed to come in? And
we alternated on the same songs over at second site, right? Yeah. So we would just do one song and go, okay, I'm gonna do my parts, and then maybe after listening, I want to redo that part or something. But
so you take turns.
We would just take one song and then take turns.
Yeah, and when we're rehearsing the songs before we have lyrics written, we both kind of, like, I just feel like this is where I should sing, or Eric, you know, it's like, okay, well, he's singing here. And sometimes we'll say to each other, okay, I think it'll sound cool if you sing here right after me. But a lot of times it just kind of organically, spontaneously comes about.
That's a good description of how we write and everything. It's all very organic. Nobody comes into the practice space that we're in now and says, I have this song, let's play it. I'll show it to you. We just kind of go, okay, let's start with this one. All right. And then we
It's
just
like
kind
a
of,
puzzle, you know?
yeah, it's a puzzle, and like trying to work on the transitions and stuff is the crucial part. But
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes it ends up
So,
being
so,
all over the
so you
place.
write it, you mainly write together in the room, like while you're jamming, you come up with this stuff.
So we'll record like riffs or ideas we have maybe at home or something, and then we'll put them up on our G drive, and then we'll go and pick from those. Like, that would sound good with this, or this sound good with that.
Yeah, we
you
need
know?
something fast here that sounds like more like this, and we'll scroll through, see what we got, try it out. And sometimes you just like a lot of the times we'll start playing a riff, and then the riff will kind of morph as we keep messing with it, and we'll come up with variations on it.
Yeah.
hey, remember that thing you played like 4 months ago?
Right.
It sounded kind of like this. Yeah, and then you're like, oh, maybe I don't know this.
Right. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So we kind of work it out like
There's
that.
been a few times where I was just sitting there goofing around and like, hey, let's keep that thing there you just did there, and that good one, and then maybe modifications made to that.
Yeah, pull it out 2 years later.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I remember
Sometimes more than 2 years. Yeah, sometimes more than 2 years. Yeah.
There's stuff up there still unused from like 3 or 4 years ago.
So we write riffs individually, but we arrange as a group.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's how it happens.
Usually we have like a direction a song, we want a song to go in up front, right? I mean, like you say, I want this one to be a little more hard driving and fast, you know, and like so this one's gonna sound a little more dark.
Occasionally, yeah. There's a grindier song that's on this recording that was intentional. That because we'd already had the riffs, and it was like, okay, let's start coupling these things together. And once it had kind of a more of a throwback feel to it, and it was like, let's go with that. So to me, it feels very Grind Crusher. That was the album.
Yeah. That song is kind of like two songs we crammed together. And that song's called Face Melt / Blood Grinder, because when we started Lectures on the Apocalypse, those were two names that I think Billy and Craig came up with, and I hated those names. but they lasted as inside jokes.
A joke, yeah.
And then we're like, let's use these.
They sound like sandwiches.
And then we had to come
face melt, the blood grinder.
then you had to come up with
That's kind of sound like death metal sandwich shop or something, right?
But then Eric, then you came up with lyrics. We had to say, okay, what is Face Melt? What is Blood Grinder? Okay, there.
And it started with the Running Man. Somebody came up with these were Running Man villains, you know, that would be chasing Arnold around, and then and I was like, okay, so we have kind of a theme, and it ended up being two types of World War II American tanks kind of thing. Yeah. So it's the tank song.
From Running Man to Tank Song.
Yeah.
Yeah, it started as an inside joke.
Yeah, Glenn was like, we're really going to name this? And I said, yeah, Ode to Billy.
It's Ode to Billy, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So, there's some history behind that.
What are some of the other lyrical themes that you guys do?
In general, we kind of found that, well, the album's called Monumental Ruin, and we kind of pieced it together by what the songs were, and we noticed a trend of like Decay, and kind of on a massive scale. So there's Monument to Decay, and
In Corrosion, there's Into Ruin, there's, so
a little, optimistic and upbeat stuff.
Yeah. So we'll call it post Armageddon, post apocalyptic sort of things. There's one that's kind of political, but it's apolitical at the same time. It's called False Dichotomy. It's compared.
It's more like a reaction to
being pushed
political extremes.
Yeah. Political.
Without being political itself.
Yes, be it the media, be it other people. Right. If you're not this, then you must be the opposite. You must be So it is about that false dichotomy of if you're not one thing, you must be the other.
You with us or against us sort of thing.
Yeah.
Sure.
Other
And not like not just like a post-apocalyptic. I mean, the post-apocalyptic stuff is there's definitely a theme of that in there, but like in general, really is like Monument to Decay, I guess, is striving really hard or working really hard towards specific goals or I guess monuments, but at some point, it's everything kind of collapses or decays. Like you've got these ancient empires
Over time, yeah.
Yeah.
So all the great things they built were just a monument to their downfall.
Right.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that song in particular stuck out for me on the stuff you played because it had a lot of doomy stuff. I think more towards the end, but it definitely had that and conveyed that type of mood. So definitely appreciated that.
I'm trying to think what other, aside from the tanks, inside joke tanks.
Wandering through a completely war-torn,
Yeah.
ravaged
Yeah.
landscape,
That-
and
that
just
still
fits
falls
in
into the same
Yeah,
theme.
that's about it.
Immolated Archetype's kind of outlier.
Yeah,
That one.
it's based on the Wicker Man, the movie,
Okay.
the
Okay.
original one, to Christopher Lee.
hmm
I think one day someone's like, "What do we want to call this?" And Eric just said, "I don't know, Immolated Archetype." Like that sounds cool. Yes.
And then we re-recorded Lost Necropolis from the CD.
And degenerative sequences, that's going to go on. That's not going to be in the vinyl. That's one of the ones that didn't fit. But then degenerative sequences and Lifeless Mindless are the two oldest songs from this set. And degenerative sequences is from the Billy days. So most of the stuff on the CD, the first CD, Lectures on the Apocalypse, those are from the Billy days. And this song is from that era too. And we decided, probably a good fit for the 7-inch, away from the other stuff because it's kind of different. But that one, the title, that also degenerative sequence, like I got that from like DNA that contributes to Alzheimer's or something, where it's you've got your your instructions on how things are supposed to be, but then you've got your corruption from within. It's unintentional. It's things that lead to Alzheimer's or cancer. So that's where that came from.
Okay.
And then Lifeless Mindless, I refactored the lyrics for that, and that's based on Rock Theriot, the Canadian cult leader, one of the few Canadian cult leaders who he's pretty brutal.
Okay. I never heard of him.
Yeah, I've never heard of him either.
Canadians are usually pretty nice. Maybe that's why there's not many cult leaders.
Yeah, he moved a group of people out to the wilderness and then proceeded to brutalize them and
Oh wow.
children and everything, and then there was, I think, only one murder, but one's enough.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think. Wow. That's all right.
Sure. So like in Atlanta, I noticed because I've been I correspond with Glenn. You guys when shows were happening, you would open for like the bigger ones that would stop in Atlanta. Like, what is the scene like in Atlanta itself for metal?
Ever changing.
Yeah, before COVID,
Before, yeah.
yeah,
Like way before.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
think
mean,
it's a
well,
great
right
scene.
before, it's excellent scene. Amos from A Ribbon Productions, Amos and Cody. I mean, it started off with Amos. He got laid off from his job. He's like, let me try booking bands, and it blew up. Like his reputation started growing, and bigger bands started coming through, and he started getting some of the bigger bands at the smaller venues. Like Cryptopsy and DRI at 529, which is one of our small neighborhood metal venues, not one of these bigger places. And with him bringing in so many great bands in, it gave us a lot more opportunities to open up for some of these bands that we love. And you've got the Masquerade, who's got the bigger shows. Like the biggest one we did was Cannibal Corpse there, and Suffocation.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. Like seeing that on I think when I was on Facebook at the time, it was like it came up as an event or something.
Okay.
Yeah, they also got they
Oh yeah, they got Deicide at the Earl.
Deicide at another small intimate venue, but then we played basically the Black show at the
Drifting Unicorn.
Loft. At the
At the,
Loft.
oh yeah,
The
the
Devastation
oh,
of
yeah,
the
yeah,
Nation
yeah.
tour.
Yeah,
So they were booking that too. So it was really taking on. They do a great job promoting it. So it's like you saw this definite. In our earlier days, there was so few people at shows. We barely ever made money doing anything. And Amos and A. Rippin started taking over and booking things, and all of a sudden we're actually getting money at the end of the night.
we get paid.
It's
yeah, he's handing us an envelope. Like, what is this?
and there's
There's
people
like a lot.
there. There's like a lot of people there, and so it has really, it's really gotten better over the years.
Yeah, until last year, obviously.
Yeah, it's not good anywhere right now. So
Yeah.
So you guys have been sending around that YouTube, the link that you sent to me, the with the 3 songs, to some labels. Have you gotten any nibbles?
A couple.
You don't have to name names, but you know.
yeah, I mean, I think we're close to getting a deal.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we've had an offer, and we're pretty sure we're taking it. So.
Okay. Cool.
It's a label that's up our alley, kind of where it makes sense where we are, kind of thing. So
good.
And it's you said it's going to be vinyl and CD.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah,
That's what you're hoping for.
it will happen. It will happen. It's just in what order.
Right.
So
Okay.
yeah,
Maybe
the goal from the beginning was to do vinyl. The artwork, which is in that video, it was intentionally done so it would fit on gatefold, kind of thing, and so it will happen. It's just when CD will happen first, and then we'll see. We'll hopefully try to be able to make something happen with vinyl, at least a 12-inch, soon after the CD or around that time. We'll see.
Cool. Eric, you got anything?
Not really. Actually, I didn't even look at the Metal Archives because I know Glenn. He was played bass in 2 notable also bands, General Surgery and Regurgitate. Was that on Metal Archives or no?
Yeah, it's on there.
It's on there. Okay.
Yeah, those are metal bands.
Hard metal band. Well, grindcore, I guess. Yeah.
Well, I guess Regurgitate's maybe not metal or whatever, but
True.
yeah, but yeah, they're on there.
Okay.
Yeah, I lived in Sweden for about nearly 6 years.
Yeah.
Oh.
I played in those bands during the time. I played in Regurgitate for that entire time I lived there, and I played in General Surgery for maybe 3 of those years that I lived there as well. So I was busy.
Yeah. Do you still keep in touch with those guys now or no?
Yeah, I speak with them 2 or 3 times a week.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I play in a war grind project it's an international thing with Urban, who was in Regurgitate. Was in Regurgitate with me, and then who is now in General Surgery. It's a very incestuous scene there. Everyone shares members and stuff. But he and I do a war grind project together called Putrefaction Sets In with 3 guys in Brazil. There are 2 of them are in a band called Expurgo. They're from Belo Horizonte. They're on Sepultura's label, as a matter of fact.
Oh, weird. Okay.
Well, no, I think they're called. And then one of the other guys, he lives in some other town down there. They're really, really good guys. But I've been in contact with these guys for years, and they were big Regurgitate fans, all of them. And they're like, "Hey, man, we should do a thing." So yeah, that'd be cool. I'll talk to people, talk to Urban, and they ended up meeting Urban when they were on tour in Europe. They played Obscene Extreme together with General Surgery, and ended up meeting him, and they hit him up about it too. So it really came together. We've been talking about it for years. But it finally came together. But yeah, I do keep in contact with those guys to make a long story short. I mean to go on a tangent here, but
Well, no, it's all good. It's all good.
I think he was supposed to play with General Surgery.
I
Last.
was supposed to do a short tour this year with General Surgery because their current bassist wasn't going to be able to make the tour was going to start at Maryland Death Fest. It was going to end in Montreal, and then they were coming back.
We were going to do a little tour.
Yeah,
from Atlanta up to
somewhere in
full Terra Assault.
Oh, cool.
in Illinois.
Yeah, which they were going to do a little tour with them.
So what happened was they were like, "Can you do these shows later in the year too? We're going to play in Nashville and in it's at Volterra Sold in Illinois." I said, "Yeah, well, Nashville is only about a 3-hour drive from Atlanta. Why don't you guys fly down to Atlanta a day or two earlier and let's set up a show in Atlanta too?" So that was actually all hammered out. It was worked out. Then this pandemic thing that took shit. So.
Yeah. Do you think? Because I guess that guy hasn't made an announcement yet about MDF 2001. But like when stuff comes back, do you think that they will be on the show again?
I spoke with Yolke about a week or two ago, and he said that they will probably not be doing anything outside of Sweden this year.
Okay.
And for sure, they have how much I'm not allowed to say.
You can't ask them.
Yeah, they're not going to be playing Maryland this year for definite, but most likely next year. I'm not sure I'll be doing that because Andy may be able to do it by that time. So I'm kind of hoping not, but
maybe your album it'll blow up and then you'll play it the following.
They'll up the price, right?
We're game.
Yeah, we'll hold our breath on that one. So it's we'll see what happens. No one knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, no one knows. I know it's unknown. Yeah.
It's a suspense thing. So I'm hoping it'll lead to positive things.
Sure.
And when everyone's finally allowed to go out and go to shows, I'm hoping the scene will blow up.
Yeah, like big turnout. You're right. People hadn't been to shows in a long time. Everyone will be really psyched to go when it's allowed. Yeah.
We've already started writing, for the next album.
Sure.
Awesome.
Our time.
Yeah.
That's a good use of time. Yeah. Just keep going and writing, of course. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, it seems like everybody's either in really taking advantage of it or taking advantage of just having a break and doing nothing. So definitely heard both sides of those stories.
It's easy to take a break and then not know when to end that break too. I mean, sitting on your hands, so to speak, and then a lot of people fall into kind of a bad habits. As far as idolatry or it's not idolatry, but idleness.
Well, a lot of times when you're recording, anyways, you have to step away from playing shows and stuff. So the pandemic kind of helped us to be able to focus on the recording without having to worry about shows at all.
True.
So, I mean, we did both. We focused on the recording. Now we're starting to write, but we also took some time off here and there.
Yeah. I feel like most everybody has to be either writing or recording, and we've already done the recording, so there we go.
Yeah, sure.
Now you move back into the writing phase.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you can only do nothing for so long. At a certain point, it's been a long time now, so if people are just taking a break, it's like, at a certain point, you got to be like, all right, I'm ready to do something.
It's hard to find, inspiration during all this, really, but there's times I'll be at work or something, and I'll come up with some ideas in my head, and I'll hum them into my iPhone or something, and try to remember what I was thinking when I get home and record it. So I've got a few things, and these guys have been recording some stuff at home, and we just got to put it together. That's all. And, the holidays being over, I think we'll really go into that phase or that and switch gears and start writing more heavily.
We probably have enough material for about 5 songs overall, but because writing them organically takes so long, it will take at least a year and a half for us to get those 5 songs done.
We don't really have a formula either. Come in and we got an intro or a chorus and all this. Yeah. It's not a cookie cutter thing. It's what sounds good after this. Our songs sound like my Swedish friends call it riff salad. You took a bunch of riffs shake it up in a bowl and throw it on the floor, and that's the order it's in there.
But,
You know.
but I can assure you that it's well thought out and planned.
Yeah.
Be
Yeah,
that way
it's planned for
intentionally.
sure. It's
Yeah,
yeah, it is for sure.
We do go for an element of repeatability and
Yeah.
and whatnot. That there are hooks, if you'll call them that,
Sure.
in there, and there are
But every song is
chorusy
different.
things, but every song is
It's,
completely different
Yeah.
structure.
and that's not by design necessarily. It's just how it turns out. So
And at the same time, while you're still writing, you still have to kind of like stay in show ready shape. You can't just not play your material from shows and just be completely rusty by the time you can play shows. So you start out like playing some of your old material, play like 3, 4, 5 songs, and then start on some
And
writing.
then write for an hour.
Mhm.
yeah, we only rehearse once a week, so that's all really our schedules allow us to.
From Atlanta, I live about 45 to 50 miles east. Glenn lives about 50 miles northwest.
Yeah, something.
And-
40,
or-
45
yeah.
minutes like that.
Yeah.
So
Minutes
it's
or miles?
minutes.
Oh, okay. That takes
Well,
me a good hour,
That's
10
just
to get to
counting.
practice.
That's
So
just
that's an hour each way to and from practice.
But see, I work closer down here though.
Yeah, and
So
pre-pandemic, I work in Atlanta, so after days I work in the office, I could come,
Okay.
come to practice. But
yeah.
so
And I
these
usually,
days it's a haul back and
Yeah.
forth for just practice.
So I work in construction. I work in a trade. So I work closer down here. And after work, I'll come down and take a shower at Dan's, and then I'll spend the night at Dan's. So because I would be literally driving past my job, at night in the middle of the night, and then coming right back. So it's a lot easier just to stay down here in Atlanta. So it works out. It's not like we're just making these crazy commutes or whatever. We make it happen, logistically speaking. So, but when I lived up in New Jersey. When I lived up there, I was driving 2 or 3 times a week all the way up to Sayreville from Philly. That's like a 2-hour drive.
Yeah, that's far. Yeah.
And I get home at like midnight and have to get up at 5 in the morning to get to work. It was terrible. So, that's not like that anymore. I wouldn't be able to. That was 20-something years ago, man. I wouldn't be able to pull that off now.
We're pretty much for shows. We're more of a weekend band.
Yeah. We don't think-
Those weeknight shows are pretty rough.
Right. Yeah.
Sure.
Especially if we're closing it and it's close to 2 a.m. and you
Yeah.
gotta get to work.
Well, we get offered them, but sometimes we have to turn them down because I can't.
Yeah.
I can't.
Or play first.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. We've done
Yeah.
that.
We'll play first.
And take off.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I hate doing that. I really do because I'd like to stick around for the other bands.
Yeah.
Sure.
Depends on
I
who's
get-
playing after us.
Right. Yeah. Well. Yeah. I get up at 4:30 every morning. It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's rough, man. It's rough. So it's not like I can just not sleep at my age. So,
Sure.
yeah, I could do that back in the day, but not these days. So.
Yeah, my body definitely could have put up with a lot more, in high school and in college than I can't even imagine, like staying up till 2 in the morning to see I
Right.
I can't do it.
Well,
Oh man.
Well, playing, going on at 1:30 in the morning means that you don't finish till after 2, which means
Yeah.
then you got to get your stuff loaded out, get it back to the practice space,
Right.
and then for me, drive home.
When-
For him, sometimes drive home. Maybe I'll get home, 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah, when we would tour in Europe, like in my other bands in Germany, they would pack so many bands on the bill that sometimes as a headlining band, we'd start playing at 3 in the morning. It was ridiculous, man. But back then I could handle it. That was like I said 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, no.
Those clubs over there have showers and stuff. Like in
Some
the
of them,
back.
yeah, a lot of them do, yeah, and they have places for the bands to sleep.
Oh, for the bands. I was gonna say,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
what kind of clubs are you playing, dude?
For anybody, yeah, everybody goes to take
I
showers.
saw you guys from the shower. You were
It's just in the back.
Yeah.
It has a good view of the stage.
Yeah, you see the back, It's like but no, yeah, they generally, there's a different thing over there, They
Yeah.
feed you and they house you and all that kind of stuff. Here, you're kind of on your own.
Yeah.
You know, they may give you a few dollars or something for a hotel room or something, but the venues tend to have facilities for the bands to sleep in and you know, take showers and things like that. A lot of times it's cold showers, especially when we're in East Germany, Eastern Bloc. Back then, you know, man, I take cold showers in some weird places, man.
That's a good quote.
But
I woke
good
up-
view of the stage.
Dude, I woke up in some dudes in the Czech Republic. We played in a place called Usi nad Labem. I'll never forget it. We showed up at this guy's house, man, and he's got a cabinet full of human skulls, right? And this is some random dude that invited us to stay at his place. I'm like, it's like, hey man, where'd you get these skulls? And he's like, there's a cemetery up the street. I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, check this out. And, you know, somebody called him on his phone, and it was back when they had MIDI like ringtones, you know, like you know, and it was one of our songs on his phone, and it was a Regurgitate song. I'm like, holy crap, man, this is weird. And we got, you know,
My skull will fit real well right
yeah,
there.
right in there. So I mean, really cool dude, man. But we got plastered, and I ended up sleeping in the bathtub there.
Okay.
Yeah, because you know, the floor was staying, you know, so I was like, you know, I was just hammered, so I was like, I'll just curl up over here. Sleep in the bathtub, man. That was a strange night, man. Yeah, we slept in the van. I remember Urban crashed in a field at one festival we were playing. He woke up with like dew on his face.
With what on his face?
Dew.
Morning
Yeah, like
dew.
morning dew.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it's like little droplets everywhere.
With a dude on his face.
So dude had a dude on his face. That's a dew on his face. God. So yeah, it was rough, man. But you know, in our youth, we could handle that. You know, just
Sure.
enjoy it.
Anyway, I think we're sort of at time here. We'll wrap it up. I mean, I super appreciate you guys coming on, talking with us for an hour. Definitely send me the links, you know, when the stuff becomes publicly available. You know, we have a Facebook page and whatnot. You know, we're still getting followers and everything, but we'll definitely help you guys, you know, promote it as much as we can.
Awesome. And you want to name drop Malformity?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm in another band where I play bass in that one with Nate, the drummer from Paladin. Peter, he plays guitar in a local band called Obsolescence. Danny, he used to play in Obsolescence also. And Sean, he used to play bass in Sadistic Ritual. It's also death metal. They told me when I joined that I could contribute writing. I was like, no, if anything I write death metal is all going to go to Malformity. If it was like rock, or if I was in another band that was not death metal, I would write stuff. Any death metal I write comes to Malformity because it's, you know, it's I might as well put all of my effort into one thing and not spread it out.
And it's a lot different though.
Yeah,
They're a lot
theirs
more
is-
technical
Yeah.
kind of with
I think
time
theirs is
signatures and
just-
stuff like that.
Yeah, the timing, it's at one point I was like, okay, when is the level of challenging and the level of fun?
Yeah.
When are they starting to,
Yeah.
you know? But
Balance
it's
out, yeah.
fun.
But yeah, you guys
And
just
plus, I'm not
recorded-
writing. So.
And then you guys recorded something
We
right
recorded-
when we were working on ours.
Yeah, we
Well,
recorded at Alex's studio too. We did 3 songs there.
It should be like a demo of some kind or something, EP or something.
Yeah, 3 songs, and we're working on the next album too. So
Oh, cool. Yeah, we'll send a link.
Cool. Yeah, no, it definitely, like, I listened back on it, and I get all the links in the description that I can. But whatever you can send me is definitely helpful to you know, to put it there so people can check out, hopefully.
Right, man. Awesome.
Hey man, well I appreciate it.
Yeah.
yeah, thank you.
You guys